every month I meet Armenian authorities, including Prime Minister, Foreign Minister, in order to understand from inside what's going on. I mean, negotiation process, Armenian-Turkey process, Armenian-Russian relations. So I know a lot more than many Armenian journalists. But again, I'm not a representative of Armenian government. I represent Tatul Hakobyan, individual Armenian. So before visiting here, I spent several days in Syunik, drove along the Armenia-Azerbaijan state border. Why I'm starting from Syunik? Because the situation in Syunik has drastically changed after you know that Syunik is the Armenia's southern part, southern Mars, southern region, and after this disastrous war, a lot of changes we see there. That's why I want to start from Syunik, then move to Artsakh. And as I said before, visiting here, I spent several days in Syunik, drove along the Armenian-Azerbaijan state border, new border, because that border is new, because Azerbaijan, with support of its allies, restored the borders of Soviet Armenia and Soviet Azerbaijan. Moreover, as you know, Azerbaijan in a lot of places penetrated deep into Armenian territory, occupying several parts of territories of sovereign Armenia. So unfortunately, it was not possible to travel to Artsakh because you know that since December 12, Artsakh is under blockade. Let's start from Artsakh and then move to Syunik. Well, let's start from Artsakh, then move to Syunik, not vice versa. The road, the only corridor connecting Armenia to Artsakh, goes through Syunik, and as you know, Azerbaijan, with the tacit consent of Russia, closed the corridor, and Artsakh is under blockade since mid-December. By the way, several days ago, U.S. ambassador, new ambassador in Yerevan, we have new ambassador, American ambassador, Christina Klein, traveled to the entrance of the Lachin corridor. The ambassador retreated Secretary Blinken's call to reopen the Lachin corridor immediately. All Western allies of Armenia and international organizations call to Azerbaijan and partly Russia, without naming Russia, to end the blockade and the sufferings of Armenians in Artsakh. Even we have an international court decision adopted several weeks ago urging Baku to end the blockade, but still Baku ignoring. As you know, the full-scale fighting, also known as Second Karabakh War, have ceased in November 9, 2020 with tripartite statement. One of the paragraphs of the statement says, I'm quoting, "The Lachin corridor, 5 kilometers wide, which will provide for communication between Nagorno-Karabakh and Armenia, shall remain under the control of the peacekeeping troops of Russia. Azerbaijan shall guarantee traffic safety for citizens, vehicles and goods in both directions along the Lachin corridor." Why Azerbaijan behaves in such manner, it is understandable. For Ilham Aliyev, this is zero-sum game. He wants to get everything possible. What yesterday was propaganda statement for Azerbaijan, today has become an item on the foreign policy agenda of Azerbaijan. Why Russia behaves in such manner? Let's try to understand and accept several realities. Many Armenians don't like to hear the realities, what we have now. I know that it's not easy to accept the realities, but the realities are realities.
That's right.
In order to understand the situation, first of all, let's concentrate the first reality. Before, during, and after 44-day war, Armenia lost its monopoly of being Russia's #1 and only strategic ally partner in the Caucasus. Since 1991, during the presidency of Levon Del-Petrosyan and the first years of second president Robert Kacharyan, Armenia considered as the only Russia's ally in the Caucasus region. We had the opportunity, we had the opportunity and the best time to solve the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict through mutual concessions, but we lost the chance. This is my belief, this is my understanding, that unfortunately we misused the time. When we were strong, when there was a chance, I think we had a chance, but unfortunately we lost that chance. We misused the time and the opportunity. So now Azerbaijan is much more important for Russia than Armenia. This is reality. This is reality. I'm not anti-Russian person, but this is reality, and we should understand it. This is not about bad Russia, good Russia. Russia is Russia, big state, and that country has his interest, his geopolitical interest, and his geopolitical interest dictates him to behave in a way he behaves now. The second reality, we see Russia-Turkey competitive cooperation on one hand, and Russia-Azerbaijan strategic partnership on the other. Many Armenians don't want to acknowledge this open secret. Many Armenians think this is because of Nikol Pashinyan, and accused him as pro-Western, anti-Russian. This interpretation is naive and primitive. Pashinyan can be pro-Western and anti-Russian, which I will argue, but Russia's national interests are in the first place, and to have better relations with Azerbaijan is their foreign policy priority.
Yeah.
Of course, it is very important what kind of authorities we have in Armenia, but I don't think it's naive to say that because of Nikol Pashinyan, Russia behaves in this way. No, Russia's interests are above Nikol Pashinyan and all Armenians living around this globe. Third reality, about 3 decades during the negotiation process, we were controlling 7 adjacent regions. We called it liberated territories. Azerbaijan and international community called it occupied territories. Now we lost control after 44-day war. We lost 1/3 of Nagorno-Karabakh proper, I mean NKAO, the former region inside Soviet Azerbaijan, which territory was about 4.4 square kilometers. We lost 1/3 of NKAO proper, and moreover, Azerbaijan army penetrated, as I said, into Armenia's territory in more than 100 places. Just a moment, I will.
Is it easier for you to talk in the mic so that you don't strain your
No,
voice?
it's I'm fine. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
okay,
I'm
I
fine.
don't want you to strain your
Yeah.
voice.
So, Azerbaijani army penetrated into Armenia's territories in more than 100 places, in total occupying 140 square kilometers of sovereign territory of Armenia. So, in 100 places, Azerbaijani army is inside Armenia's territory. 1 meter, 10 meter, 100 meter, 1 kilometer, 5 kilometer, in more than 100 places. Imagine the situation in Armenia. The fourth reality. So, occupying the territory of Soviet Armenia, you know that Azerbaijan wants to dictate his will. The fourth reality. For many years, Armenia had the powerful army in the Caucasus, and in comparison with Azerbaijani army, the military balance in 1990s between two neighbors, I mean Armenia and Azerbaijan, or Armenia/Artsakh and Azerbaijan, because we know that Armenian army is one army, although we call Nagorno-Karabakh army, we all know that one army, Armenian army. So the military balance in 1990s between the two rivals were close to equal. But now, and since April 1 in 2016, Azerbaijan military budget exceeds several times. There is one more important fact while trying to understand Russia's behavior and silence. There is no doubt that Russia remains the guarantor of the security and defense of Nagorno-Karabakh. But there is no doubt that Moscow and Baku are acting in tacit agreement on many issues. But again, I want to stress that the only guarantor now of security of Nagorno-Karabakh people, Nagorno-Karabakh Armenians, is Russia. We can love Russia, we can hate Russia, but this is another reality. The security Artsakh, and including Gory Stepanakert way or Lachin corridor, is under direct control and responsibility of the Russian peacekeeping forces. But unfortunately, Russia remained silent when Azerbaijani army seized two remaining Armenian-controlled villages in Hadrut region shortly after November 9 statement. As you know, Azerbaijani army during and after the war, after the 2020 war, occupied the whole region of Hadrut, and only two remaining villages. That villages they occupied after Azerbaijani army occupied after November 9 statement. And as you know, we lost many people, many soldiers there, and till now we have dozens of Armenians who were in Baku prison because at that time they were fighting in that direction. And we have dozens of Armenians suffering in Baku prison. Russia remained silent when Azerbaijanis occupied strategic heights close to Stepanakert in 2021, close to Askeran. Those who are from Nagorno-Karabakh or those who are following Armenian Artsakh, you know that Askeran and Stepanakert, capital of Nagorno-Karabakh, is so close. Russia was silent when the bloody events of Lachin took place in August last year, 2022. Russia was silent when Azerbaijan closed the gas pipeline. Russia remained silent when Azerbaijani forces occupied territories from Armenia. You know that in many cases, the authorities of Armenia asked Russia to help, asked CSTO to help, but we heard silence. What does Azerbaijan wants to get? First, this is my understanding. Probably the Baku authorities can explain more, openly and more, in a comprehensive way. But this is my understanding what Azerbaijan wants to get. First, Baku wants Armenia to recognize Nagorno-Karabakh as part of Azerbaijan and wants it to be codified in Armenia-Azerbaijan peace treaty. This is first item, and Baku wants Armenia to accept this. Many Armenians think that Armenian authorities accepted it, but it is not true. Armenia is still trying in a way to, not to accept it, saying that yes, let's to have peace treaty, Yerevan-Baku peace treaty, but let Nagorno-Karabakh status let for the future. But Azerbaijan says no, we need now. We need you, Armenia, to accept that Nagorno-Karabakh is part of Azerbaijan. Second, Armenian armed forces withdraw from Nagorno-Karabakh fully, and the defense army of Nagorno-Karabakh to be disbanded. This is the second item. Third, Armenia should provide a corridor or free access to Azerbaijan so that the latter can connect with Nakhichevan without any hindrance. So without meeting any Armenian customs officers, any Armenian soldiers. So they want the same status as Armenia has, while we using Gori Stepanakert road. So they want the same status along the Araxes River. But for Armenia, I will explain it later. For Armenia, this is red line. Armenia says that will never give any territory, any sovereign territory from Armenia to use Azerbaijan to connect with Nakhichevan and Turkey. Third, Armenia should provide, as I said, provide a corridor. In December 2022, under the pretext of an environmental problems in Artsakh, Azerbaijan closed the Gori-Stepanakert road. The blockade continues until today, and I think Azerbaijan will not open it soon and will use the corridor as a leverage against Karabakh and against Armenia for his maximalistic policy. In December 2021, the president of Azerbaijan announced that if Armenia insists on the controlling the movements of goods and citizens through Zangezur corridor by establishing customs points, then will insist on the same conditions in the Lachin corridor. So last year, President Aliyev clearly said that we are going to close the Goris-Stepanakert road if you are not going to give us sovereign passage that we can connect with Nakhichevan and with Turkey. Thus, Azerbaijan wants to connect with Nakhichevan, having the same regime that works for Armenians when Armenians will connect with Artsakh. And Russia wants to be a controller of the corridor. Russia wants Armenia to allow Azerbaijan to use Armenia's southern corridor along the Araxes River. Who is against? Who is against this corridor? First of all, of course, Armenia is against, because we understand that that corridor probably means that one day, if Azerbaijan will be much more strong than today, probably they will use it as their territory. So giving corridor to Azerbaijan is a very dangerous step, and Armenia is trying his best to not allow. Armenia says that we are ready to open all roads connecting to Azerbaijan, to Nakhichevan via Armenia, but not any sovereign passage, not corridor. We are ready, yes, you can use our roads, but not any corridor. As I said, Armenia is against. Turkey, by the way, is not so happy that Russia will control the corridor connecting Azerbaijan to Nakhichevan and Turkey. Of course, Turkey wants, Sunni corridor to connect with Azerbaijan, but Turkey wants Russia control that corridor. Iran is against, because Tehran don't want to lose the common border with Armenia. The USA is against, and in this issue, Washington's and Tehran's positions are the same. They have the same approach. Several weeks ago, I met a diplomat from American embassy in Yerevan, and we were talking about these issues, and he clearly said that yes, we are rivals, Tehran and Washington, but in Sunni, our approaches, our positions are the same. And I suggested to an American diplomat that why don't you want to open consulate in Kapan like Iranians opened the consulate in Kapan. As you know, several months ago, Iran opened this consulate in Kapan, in the March center of Sunni region. Yeah. United States, as I say, is against. Our northern our northern neighbor Georgia is also against, because Georgians understand that that they will lose Azerbaijan-Turkey transit via Georgian territory if if Azerbaijan and Turkey will be connected with the corridor along the Araxes River in Merli region. Of course, European Union also is against, knowing that Merli corridor for Russian means to bypass also Russian sanctions.
Oh.
This is another open secret. Now several words on Sunni. By the way, Nasser, you know Nasser. Nasser is the Armenian organization based in Boston.
Right.
They helped me financially, and I during 2 years ago, they transferred $2,000 US dollars to Anya Armenian Research Center, and as a coordinator of Anya Armenian Research Center, I traveled several times to Sunni region, and I prepared a report about Sunni, and that report is available on Anya Armenian Center's webpage now in Armenian, and hopefully in coming months it will be available also in English. So, tremendous changes we see in the southern region of Armenia, Sunni wedged between Nakhichevan, Iran and Azerbaijan after 44-day war. Before the war, the villages of Sunni region did not have borders with Azerbaijan and were located up to and more than 100 kilometers away from the Karabakh-Azerbaijan-Kontagul line. November 9, 2020 statement marked the end of the full-scale war, but no peace was established. And in May 2021, the Azerbaijani side invaded the Black Lake region, and in mid-November, bloody clashes took place in Metish-Khanasan area. Both are close to Goris and Sisyan. They are in between Goris and Sisyan. And last year, on September 13-14, Azerbaijan launched an offensive in the area from Vartenis to the Armenian, where the Armenian-Azerbaijan-Iranian new border meet in close to the Arax River, using drones, attacking drones, heavy artillery, large caliber weapons. This was the biggest clash after 44-day war, during which the Armenian side lost more than 200 personnel. The population of many settlements, including the resort town of Jermuk, was evacuated. The security environment here, as I said, in Sunni, has changed. Today, the Azerbaijani military is in or close to Shurnukh and Vorotan villages of Goris region, in the vicinity of Kapan airport, and several tens of kilometers of the road from Goris to Kapan and to Merli direction passes just about 10-15 meters away Azerbaijani military post or along the border itself. While driving along the border, you can see dozens of Azerbaijani flags. You can see very close Azerbaijani soldiers standing there. And they raise their flags. And Armenians also raise their tricolors. And once coming back to Yerevan, while I was in Sunni for preparing this report I mentioned, I wrote an article about Armeno-Azerbaijani war of flags. Which flag is higher? When Azerbaijani flag is 10 meters, Armenia's flag is 15 meters. Then Azerbaijanis raised 20 meters. So there is a war, flag wars. And by the way, in between there is Russian flags. What should we do in order to get rid of this nightmare? The nightmare continues. Everyone labeled Armenian authorities as traitors. They sell out Karabakh. They are Davajans, etc., etc. It's your choice, it's every Armenian choice to use the words he wants to use. But the reality is that Armenia and Artsakh are in a very, very dire situation. And we don't know what will be the outcome and what is the way to get rid of this situation. I think we should follow. I would like to mention 2-3 important points. Again, this is my understanding. First, we should restore the military balance to buy defense systems, strike drones and heavy artillery where it possible. Unfortunately, the Armenian army after the 44-day war is still in not a good condition. We lost 5,000 our soldiers, 10,000 of Armenian army personnel injured, and imagine 15,000 dead and injured, which means that every fourth Armenian soldier we lost or they are injured. But if you want, and if it's possible, to keep Azerbaijan and push and pressure Azerbaijanis from Armenian sovereign territories, we should try to recover the military balance. And we should try to buy weaponry where it's possible. You know that Armenia transferred more than $200 billion to Russia to buy Russian weaponry, but unfortunately Russians can't, transfer weaponry because they are in a war in Ukraine, and they themselves trying to buy weapon from other countries like Iran, even North Korea. So, and Russians clearly said that we are not ready now to transfer you, weaponry. And Armenia, and it is not secret anymore, Armenia is trying to deepen relations with India and trying to buy Indian weaponry. So military balance, recovering of military balance is very important. Without that, Azerbaijan will continue to dictate his will. Second, to decrease Armenia's dependence from Russia, we should try to decrease Armenia's dependence from Russia. I'm not saying that Armenia should become an anti-Russian state. No, never. But we should try to fill the vacuum with American, European, Indian, Iranian presence. And we should try to explain our Russian partners that 100 unarmed European observers who deployed recently in the territory of Armenia in 2 Marzis, and they are monitoring Armenian Azerbaijan and Armenian Nakhichevan border. They are not against Russia. When Mr. Blinken says that, or other American diplomat says that the Armenia's, sovereignty is a red line for us, that doesn't mean that that statement is anti-Russian. And of course, the third point, which many Armenians don't want to listen about that, but this is again my understanding, we should try to have relations with Turkey. Turkey is very dangerous. Many Armenians said that opening borders with Turkey means that Turkey will become dangerous for Armenia. But I think with closed borders, Turkey is much more dangerous for Armenia than with open borders. So I would like to stop here and to listen your thoughts, your comments, and your, I'm open also to pose your questions if you have any. And thank you for this opportunity, Aylos Ijan. And thank you all of you spending this night today in this Armenian church.
We're not finished yet. We want to hear more from you, Tatul. So
I
the
can-
evening is not over yet.
Yeah, I'm I'm sorry to say this, but
Please.
I know a lot of things about Armenia, Artsakh, Armenia-Russian relations, Armenian-Turkey relation, etc., etc. But we have time restrictions, so we have 1 hour time. So let's try to use that time,
What
please.
time is it?